to my channel. It's Rochelle. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you are already subscribed to my channel, thank you so much for all the love and support this far. So as you can see in the title below, I'm going to be sharing some extremely helpful tips for anyone out there who's looking on to take on the next journey of their immigration process, which is permanent residency. So yes, so if you don't know by now, I actually migrated to Canada as an international student, where I transitioned to being a worker, which I had my postgrad work permit, and then now being a permanent resident. So the whole purposes of this video is that if someone out there who is looking on taking on that next journey, or even if you haven't moved to Canada yet and that's one of your long-term goals, I feel like this video will provide some extremely helpful tips out there for you. So please watch this video to the end. Yes, please watch the complete video because I have a lot of information to share. Also, I did do a video a few months ago about how I migrated to Canada, and I also did a follow-up video just sharing some extremely helpful tips for international students. I did get some questions, and at the end of this video, I'll be answering those questions as well. So please watch the entire video. So disclaimer before we actually get into this video, I am not an immigration consultant. I am not an immigration lawyer. I have no legal authorization to be giving any form of immigration advice. This is just me sharing, just based off because I've motioned through it. So yeah, that's the whole purpose, and just so that someone out there can find this extremely helpful. If you do need immigration advice, I would recommend that you find a consultant, a licensed consultant, and also so you can call IRCC for any information or go on the IRCC website. So yes, so let's get into this video. So the first tip that I would definitely recommend to anyone that is looking into permanent residency is to make sure that you take the time out to research the different type of immigration programs out there. I cannot emphasize on this. Please make sure that you do your research just to see which program works best for you. There's so many different programs out there, and you just want to make sure that you're choosing the best one that works best for you and your family, if you're going to be taking your family along with you. So yes, please take the time out to do your research. Please make sure that you have some form of knowledge as it relates to which program you want to look into. So step number 2, choose a program. Don't mind the book here. I think I forgot to mention earlier, I did make some notes just to make sure that I have some form of structure and I'm not rambling all over the place. So yeah, so step number 2, as I mentioned, choose a program. After you take that time out to really sit down and do your research to see what really works best for you, choose a program. There's so many different programs out there that you can actually migrate through. You have express entry, you have provincial nominee, you have caregiver, you have Atlantic, you have family sponsorship. You have so many different programs that Canada offers. So that's why I always say, please make sure that you research, and after you do your research, choose a program. So step number 3, check the requirements of the program that you have decided on. And why I say that, you don't want to choose an immigration program and you don't meet the requirements. You're not eligible. Just because you like all of what is offered doesn't mean that you are eligible. So I would say make sure that the program that you're interested in, you meet the requirements, because you don't want to waste your time trying to apply under that program and you're not eligible. So yes, please make sure that you are eligible for the program that you have decided on. One program that I would definitely recommend that you look into is Express Entry. So Express Entry is one of the quickest ways to obtain your permanent residency in Canada. This program takes 6 months. If you're not sure what Express Entry is a online point-based system that Canada chooses skilled workers to become a permanent resident. So yes, so that's how the express entry works. So it's a point-based system. So if you're wondering how express entry works, it's a application process that checks for your eligibility, which includes work experience, your education, your language skills, and other factors. So other factors that the express entry will take into consideration is if you have family members. If you have family member like a sibling here in Canada, your age, so those are other factors that they take into consideration along with your work experience, your education, and your language skills. And the language component is English or French. If you know French, I would suggest that you brush up on just to earn some extra points there. But if you don't speak French, it's fine. English is good. So please make sure that you practice your English to increase your score. So one more thing is that the express entry is managed through 3 programs, which is the Canadian Experience Class, the Federal Skilled Worker Program, the Federal Skills Trade Program. So those are the 3 programs that express entry is managed through. So if you decide on express entry, you have to make sure that your requirements fall within those 3 categories. So if you're thinking about going the express entry route and your next step, how do I know if I meet the requirements? How do I know if I have enough points? Because you do need a minimum of 400 points to get into the pool. And don't be thinking, oh, you know what, maybe, yeah, I know how many points I have. So here comes CRS. The CRS is the comprehensive ranking system. Comprehensive ranking system is a tool which will help you to calculate your score based on the answers that you provide. So the answers that you're going to be providing is your age, your marital status, your education, your language skills, and other factors. One thing that I would definitely suggest, if you hold if you have, let's say you move here to Canada as a student and you have Canadian education and you worked a year as a skilled worker, so you have a minimum of 1 year Canadian experience working a skilled job and you have a degree back home, I would say please make sure that you get your degree evaluated. And if you have work experience that's considered skill, please make sure you can use those to contribute to earn more points in the express entry system. So the questions are based on skill, education, language, work experience, and other factors as I mentioned. So if you meet the requirement, next step is to create your express entry profile. And how do you go about creating your express entry profile is to log on to the IRCC website and follow the instructions. You gather all your supporting documents that the checklist is asking you for. So please make sure that you download the checklist and you get all the supporting documents that are needed, fill out your profile, and then submit your application and on your ITA. So what is ITA? It's your invitation to apply for your permanent residency. So if you have been invited to apply for your permanent residency, they'll send you an ITA. So that will be your final step. Apply for your PR. And so another program that you can definitely look into as well as the express, apart from the express entry, if you don't qualify for express entry, you don't have enough points to get into the express entry pool, is the provincial nominee program. So what is the provincial nominee program? So this program is for workers that have skills, education, work experience to contribute to the economy of a specific province or territory. So one thing that I would definitely recommend for provincial nominee, if you're looking into that option, please make sure that you meet the eligibility requirements. Please make sure that you're qualified for that program. And the reason why I always emphasize making sure that you're eligible for these programs is that I know that a few provinces have made changes to their provincial nominee program, meaning, especially for students, international students, if you came to Canada and you studied in a particular province, for example, you came to Canada, you moved to the province of Ontario, you studied in Ontario, you decide on Alberta. In Alberta provincial nominee program, in the province of Alberta, you don't qualify for their provincial nominee. So that's what I'm saying. You have to make sure that you read the eligibility requirements just to make sure that you're eligible. I know that Manitoba has done this as well. If you did not study in their province, you're not eligible. So yeah, please make sure that you look into you take the extra steps just to make sure that you are eligible for their provincial nominee program. So one thing you need to understand about provincial nominee is which stream will you be applying under. So how the provincial nominee works is that they have different streams. So I'll give you an example. So for Alberta, for their PNP program, they have different streams that you can apply under. You can't just say you're applying to provincial nominee. You have to know which stream you are applying under or which program. So for Alberta's provincial nominee, the streams that they have available, they have the Alberta Opportunity Stream, Alberta Express Entry, the Rural Renewal Stream. So after you read all the requirements for each stream, you have to decide on which one you're going to be applying under. Alberta Opportunity Stream is a program that I definitely recommend for students if you migrated to Canada as a student. So yeah, and then the next step would be gather your documents, fill out your profile, submit, and wait for your ITA, which is your invitation to apply. So once you have that letter or that confirmation letter that the next step is to apply for your permanent residency, then you are well on your way. So yeah, that would be the final thing for you to do, or the next thing for you to do within your application process. Pretty much what I would have to recommend as it relates to going about your permanent residency route. Well, yeah. So as I mentioned earlier, I will be answering a few questions, and also I'll be suggesting a few tips for anyone out there. So the first question that I got was, did I apply for my permanent residency on my own? Did I? No, I did not. I did not apply for my permanent residency on my own. I did have help. I did use an immigration consultant, which was recommended by a friend of mine. My immigration consultant was 10 out of 10. She was perfect. She helped me every step of the way. And although I did use a consultant, I was very hands-on with my application. Please make sure that you're being hands-on with your application, meaning that you know what is going on. You know what's going on, because you don't want to. I'm not saying that you shouldn't trust the person that you are paying to help you with your application, but don't just leave things and you're not following up. You don't know what's going on. You know absolutely nothing. So for me, I was very hands-on with my application, and I would suggest to anyone out there, please make sure that you are very hands-on. And hence I also recommend please making sure that you have done research on what you're doing, so you're not clueless as it relates to anything that's going on. So question number 2 is, what's the best program to study in Canada? To be honest, when it comes to studying, I really don't have an answer for that. I can't recommend a best program for anyone out there. What I would definitely suggest is do something that you're extremely passionate about. So if you're coming to Canada as a student and you had a career back home, or you did some form of tertiary education back home, if what you did is your passion, continue to do that. Look into the same thing that you were doing previously and bring it here to Canada. Further that, because I don't want to recommend something and you end up hating it. So I don't anyone what's the best program to do. I would suggest that do something that you're passionate about. If you're not sure what you're passionate about, if you find a college, you can reach out to them. Go on their website, see the programs, do your research about the programs before you take on that next step. Because for me, I did do a program, I did hospitality, I loved it. But then fast forward, like after working in that field for 5 years, I felt like it was no longer for me. It was no longer for me, because even though what I'm doing, that's not what I studied when I came here. So that's why I don't recommend anything, because for me, I'm talking based off experience. I did do something that after a while, the passion was just not there. I wasn't enjoying what I was doing, and I was like, yeah, this is no longer for me. Like, I got to go. So yeah, just do something that you're passionate about. That's my suggestion for that question. That's with the questions. As it relates to tips, suggestions, what I would definitely recommend to anyone out there that is whichever phase of your immigration process is, either you're a student here, you are now on your postgrad work permit, or you're on your PR journey, or you're looking to come to Canada as a student or a worker, or whatever, as a temporary resident, but your long-term goal is PR, please make sure that you are subscribed to CIC News. I cannot emphasize on this enough. Please make sure that you're subscribed. And the reason why I say this is that Canada is constantly making changes when it comes to their immigration programs. You want to make sure that you are fully aware and informed as it relates to what is going on immigration wise, especially when you are a temporary resident, because you don't want them to make changes and you are affected. You're not aware of what's going on. So please make sure that you are subscribed to CIC News. Even for me, I'm still subscribed. Do I really follow up that much? No. But 1 or 2 times, like, I'll check just to make sure. Well, I still get the subscription. Am I following up as much as I used to? Not really, but I do still see what's going on. So please make sure that you are subscribed. Most important tip of all, please make sure that you're hands-on with your application. Please, I cannot emphasize on this enough. Please make sure that you are very hands-on with your application. Don't be clueless. Don't just give your consultant full power over everything and you're just there. You don't know anything. You don't know if your application has been submitted. You don't know what's going on. So please make sure that you are very hands-on with your application. Also, please make sure that you do your own research. Do not be clueless. Please make sure that you have some form of knowledge and you have some form of understanding as it relates to what's going on with the program that you've decided on. So please make sure that you do your own research. If you're in Canada, and especially if you are here, in one more thing that I'll definitely suggest is, if you need clarity, please call IRCC. Yeah, call them, ask them questions. Don't be like, oh, you know what, the wait time is so long. Rubbish. Call the people then. If you're not sure and you need clarity, call them. They know where, if you're calling within Canada, you can ask them to call you back. Listen, when I was doing my application, from the time I had my postgrad work permit, the process of like bridging my work permit, permanent residency, I would call them. I don't care how long I would be on hold for. I am going to call them to ask them questions. I need clarity. I need answers. I am going to call them. So do not be afraid to call them. So yeah. So I think this is the end of the video. I'm going to wrap it up right now. So I'm going to wrap up the video right now. I hope someone out there find this extremely helpful. If you know anyone out there who is taking on this phase of their immigration journey, or they're looking to migrate as a student and their long-term goal is permanent residency, please share this video with them. I just want to say thank you so much for watching my video. Please don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment in the comment section. If you have more questions, please comment and I'll do a follow-up, or I will try my best to answer these questions and try my best to help as much as possible. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.